Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Superboard commentary. I am your host and commentator, DruoxTheShredder, and I will be bringing you my commentation tating for this game. Came in just in time for the last pick. We got a pretty solid team on the Dire, including one of my favorite heroes, Clinks. The Magnus will also be very fun to watch. Oh boy, Clinks and Clockwork on opposite teams. Rubik is highlighted for some reason. I don't quite know why. Shadow Demon will be fun because he can fuck with that Magus pretty hard. He can also fuck with the Life Stealer. Even the Clinks. Shadow Demon, probably one of my favorite heroes to play mid or a side lane. Because he's just like, oh, you want to gank me? I'll just get away. Bye. And then he gets away. And everybody gets mad. Alright, folks. Everybody's here. Everybody's hanging out. We're going to go to the free cam. We're going to like this game because we're such a nice guy. I am the broadcaster, so we don't have to do any extra broadcasting. We have a lot of great team comps I've been seeing today, but I decided to do a cold cast. I figure it would be a little bit more exciting for me. I wouldn't want to be super bored, if you know what I'm saying. Haters gonna hate playing as Clanks. Probably gonna eat a bunch of shit. He has an ability called Death Pact. Right here. You can consume a target friendly or enemy creep, gaining a percentage of its hit points as max health and damage. In other words, the more HP something has, the more damage and HP the Clinks gets. It's usually what he does right before a gank. He'll usually consume one of the ancient creeps, like the creeps that are over here, or they're also over here.
30 seconds
or he will consume whatever's nearest to him that has really high HP. He's also really good at denying creeps using his ultimate and then harassing the shit out of you. Clink also has very high damage capability because of his Searing Arrows ability, which adds some extra damage to him. And it's not fun because he can attack really fast thanks to his strafe ability. And it's like ba-bam, 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 bam, bam. And you don't like that. 8 seconds of that is a long ass time. The Life Stealer seems to have a battle point multiplier increaser, happy times. That's always fun. Looks like these guys are gonna try jungling up here, maybe, sort of. Pugna, someone who I usually see banned. It's really exciting for me to see a Rubik in a game. When I don't know why I said Pugna, but I meant Rubik. I usually see Rubik's banned because of their telekinesis ability. The telekinesis ability basically picks people up and throws them around. I think that there's a champion in League of Legends that has a similar ability. It basically works like that. They can do that to the enemy heroes. Uh-oh. We got a pause from the Clockwork. We will soon find out why. Somebody disconnect? I don't see anyone disconnected. They're just pausing the game. Maybe they're sorry, G? Sorry, G. I'm sure G forgives you. Jakiro, bringing the game back. 3 people up top. We got a tri-lane up here. And I don't call it a tri-lane because they're trying hard. I'm calling it a tri-lane because there's 3 fucking people up there. We'll have to keep an eye on the dual tri-lane going on up here. I see a lot of tri-lanes in competitive play nowadays. Uh-oh. Rubik having a hard time. Rubik has a pretty interesting ultimate where he can steal spells. You read it right. He can take one of your abilities. So if you have a hero on your team that has a very game-breaking ability or ultimate, he can steal that and then he can use it. And he can do that to more than one person. And he gets the spells for a limited time. I mean, obviously, if he got the spells permanently, that would be a little bit inconvenient. Shadow Demon trying to get some harass off here. He's using, I do believe... Is this it? Removing it for play? No, that's what he used before. Shadow Poison. He has a poisonous ability right here that has stacks, which then, by the amount of stacks that you have, it multiplies the amount of damage. So we can stack it It looks like up to 8 times, which is a pretty good harassment ability. It has really far range, as you can see. It's further than even a Pudge Hook. He can go pretty far with his poison ability. And it's designed so that he can do it from a safe distance and go through minions with it. It can also get him some pretty good kills while you're trying to run away. He can poison you. Similarly to how Axe uses his Battle Hunger. Looks like Nature's Prophet is going to be teleported somewhere. Let's see where he went. He went down here to get an invisibility rune. Nature's Prophet, pretty easy to... Nature's Prophet, pretty easy to get rune control. We have a disconnect. Clinks pauses the game as quickly as possible. I've seen a lot... Like, both of the games that I commentated recently in Dota 2 had disconnects in them. Now Clockwork is disconnecting. Could this be a wash here? This is not good. We're not even 3 minutes into the game. We got 2 different disconnects. But what's nice about Dota 2 is if you have disconnects, one, you can buy them time by pausing the game. They don't miss minions. They don't miss farm or experience. They don't miss ganks and kills. And best of all, if they don't end up coming back, a timer starts. And if that timer goes up and there's still no one there, the game becomes... it doesn't matter anymore, the game. And you can leave it, and you won't have anything affect your score. So you won't have someone's shitty internet or their rage quit fuck up your record of wins and losses if you care about your win to loss ratio. And some people do. I know that I care when I'm trying my hardest and I'm doing well, and then someone rage quits because one of the other players is giving him shit. I don't like that. I mean, why would you make my efforts a waste because you can't take a little bit of some ball busting, if you will. Let's go over some more abilities here. Jakiro has a dual breath attack here. An icy blast followed by a wave of fire. One of the main damage skills. Usually you see Jakiro's focus on one of these two. They'll either focus on the dual breath or they'll focus on the ice path. Looks like this guy is focusing on ice path, and by dual breath I mean they either focus on liquid fire or ice path. It looks like this Jakiro is going to be focusing on the ice path. Ice path is a pretty good ability to be focusing on. It stuns people and then it sits there. So it's kind of like a wall getting between the enemies, kind of like the Earthshaker stun. But the difference between having a wall there that blocks people from getting through and this is that this doesn't necessarily block them from getting through, but if they walk through it, they take extra damage and they can be stunned if they hadn't been stunned already. It also takes a little bit of time to actually form, so keep that in mind. Liquid fire right here. It will burn its enemies in an area of effect with fire added to his attack while slowing their attacks. This is usually reserved for Jakiros that want to go for a more support role, but it's got nothing on this Macropyre. This is usually his big kill maker right here, his ultimate, as with most people's ultimates, where he throws down this big lava-like, disgusting ultimate for you to stand around in and die. Then we have a pretty interesting guy over here, the Lifestealer. Lifestealer has, of course, the ability to lifesteal using his feast ability. Looks like there was a kill on the Rubik there. Lifestealer just doing way too much damage for the enemies to handle. Look at the damage that this guy's dishing out. Jakiro throwing down his stun and slow, keeping people within range. Rubik already back, throwing down his kinesis over there, throwing people back towards him, but not enough to kill anybody. Lifestealer, one of the stronger laners in the game. He's one of the few melees that's actually a very viable mid because of how much life leech he gets naturally. When you stack that on top of items that give you additional lifesteal, he is ridiculous. Kind of like Warwick or other champions, gods, and heroes that have innate lifesteal that you can stack very well, especially if they have magical abilities, which he, I do believe, does not. Most of his abilities are all about doing a lot of damage to people, and he also gets bonus lifesteal from his open wounds, if you were reading it. He hits them with it, and it will steal life from them regardless of what happens to them. So kind of think of it as the Shen thing where he throws his blade at someone and it puts a little debuff on him. Looks like Nature's Prophet getting a quick gank on the Magnus while he was going through the jungle here. Gotta be careful when you go through the jungle, especially if it's the enemy jungle. If they see you, they're gonna trap you and kill you, even when you're Magnus. And Magnus is pretty difficult to kill. He has a lot of HP, he does a lot of damage, but he's not invincible. And it looks like Lifestealer just took out the Nature's Prophet, who probably got a little too cocky, went up top, and it looks like the Lifestealer was trapped down there. If he had his ultimate, he probably would have gotten out. Rubik getting taken out by the Venomancer, and it looks like Jakiro's going to take out the Windrunner over there. And now, the Shadow Demon, is he going to follow suit? He's trying to get that Venomancer, but it's not going to happen. He almost got him. Maybe if he got another stack on that poison damage, would have been a kill, but he did not get that last stack off there, and he paid for it with his life. Rubik maybe looking for the Venomancer, standing around, but the Venomancer didn't. And it looks like he's going to pay for that with his life. The Lifestealer is just kicking butt right now, using Rage on himself. So whenever he uses Rage and he turns red like that, he's immune to spells, as you can read here. He also attacks faster, which is dangerous. And when you combine that with open wounds, oh boy. The later the game gets, and the more items like Magic Stick and Vlad's, or depending on how his team is working. Like if he has a lot of melee guys on his team, he might get a Vlad's, but usually Lifestealer goes for the Satanic build. Getting a Satanic pretty fast on him is pretty overpowered. The additional damage and the ridiculous lifesteal combined with his abilities is just way too strong. Because he'll literally be able to just hit you once and almost heal his entire HP bar. Let's talk about Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet is a pretty interesting guy. He has Nature's Call, which is usually the first skill that he gets. And what that'll do is he'll put that over some trees, and they'll come alive, and they will fight for him. He has another ability called Sprout, which is usually his second ability that he gets. What the Sprout will do is it creates a ring of trees in an area. Looks like Magnus going up top for a quick gank here with one of his illusions. But at the same time, Teal, the Shadow Demon, sees it. Oh, but I don't know if he's going to get away. He's about to get really hurt. The Venomancer doing a lot of poison damage. Venomancer is all about poison, if you didn't know. He has an ability called Plague Ward, where he has a living ward that attacks. Much more effective than a normal ward. Looks like Clink's just died. He just disconnected. Not sure if that was a rage quit or just a convenient disconnect from his internet. Meanwhile, Windrunner taken out by Magnus. Magnus getting to a point where he can turret dive. Scary. Oh, he just got Arcane Boots. Arcane Boots, very strong on anyone who needs some mana every now and then. Arcane Boots give you a mana heal. When you use them, 135 mana is plenty on Magnus to use at least one of his abilities whenever needed. Clink's coming back to the game. Good to see that it's just as bad internet. I wish that people could get better internet, but this is a worldwide game. He could be anywhere in the world, or he could be really fucking poor, and being in a shit part of the world for internet or being really poor are two ways to disconnect from a game without even wanting to. Magnus going for a Magic Wand. That'll be very strong. Magic Wand gathers charges based on the spells that are cast around you. And at the same time, Nature's Prophet taking out Magnus. Magnus trying to take him out with a quick charge, but just not enough burst to take out this Nature's Prophet. Gotta be careful when you're up against a Nature's Prophet. He has an ability called Wrath of Nature, where he uses this ultimate and it bounces off of everything. Basically, if you're near enemy creeps, he can poke you with it, and he usually farms and is able to kill. When this thing's maxed, he's able to kill almost every single creep on the map. And so he can usually afford the most expensive builds in the game, and he's very difficult to shut down because of it. However, it is possible. One build that I really love to see on Nature's Prophet is when they go DPS with him with a Mask of Madness, I believe it's called. And what that does is he uses his sprout. Looks like Nature's Prophet is just going on a fucking killing spree. He was down here taking out people with the help of Shadow Demon. Quite obviously, Shadow Demon very good at keeping people from running away. And now we're up in top lane. Lifestealer is taking out people. Everybody's all over the place taking people out. I have to be more careful and watching the map a little bit more, but looks like it's going to be a quick turret dive here. Oh, he wasn't able to kill the Windrunner. What the hell? Oh, okay. I was going to say, it didn't. Why would he teleport? But instead, it was Clockwork coming up here to try to help. If Clockwork can get his ult off on... What the fuck was that? Did he just... He just did. He just did that. Did you see that? He used his ult and he hit this little pillar that's next to the ward there. Oh boy, Clockwork. What are you doing, dude? So, he's got a Staff of Wizardry. Probably needs some extra mana to fail his ult a little bit more. Clockwork is a strength guy, so he is greatly influenced by how much strength he has. Most strength guys are difficult to kill and are centered around that. Most, I find, strength guys are gankers and are very good at ganking. They usually have CC-centered abilities and are very good at keeping the enemy from running away and also keeping their HP low. This looks like Magnus has some plans for the top lane here. We'll see if these plans come to fruition at any point. There's the Ice Path going down. The Lifestealer trying to take out the Windrunner, but just Magnus damage too high. Lifestealer diving that turret, but he's able to heal back so much HP. Jakiro taking the kill there. Nature's Prophet showing up, but not nearly enough tankiness for him to survive that crap. He got stunned by the Magnus ult, which is why he got pulled in. It'll stun you, and it pulls you right into him. And when that happens, you're in big trouble, especially if his shockwave is off cooldown. He has another move called Empower that this guy isn't even bothering with, as he's too busy using Skewer. And what he does is he will use Reverse Polarity. He will either skewer and push you into his team. If his team's already there, then he'll use his shockwave, and then he might skewer you to get the kill, or he might save his skewer for a quick escape. Clockwork throwing down a Flare. That's a global ability that he can use to harass or farm with anywhere on the map. Very similarly to the Nature's Prophet's ult, except not quite as effective as the Nature's Prophet ult. It's also very good at scouting the map. You can send your flare out to try to see where the enemy is. Jakiro getting burst down by the Windrunner, not Wave Runner. That's a N64 game that I really like. And but what's gonna happen when you start getting attacked by a Lifestealer? Well, I'll tell you, you die. Infest is Lifestealer's ultimate. He goes into the body of the target unit, and he's pretty much invisible. And then what happens is he can stay in there, and he does damage when he shows himself. So it's like a bomb, so to say. And if he's in a creep, he devours it, and he'll get some quick HP. Looks like Magnus killing people again. You saw him on the map. He was right over there. Didn't really catch him on screen, though, but that's a shame. But it doesn't work on enemy heroes, because obviously you can't devour an enemy hero, but instead it explodes on them. I don't believe that it does damage to the hero that he's on, but I'm not sure. I will find out while we play. I'm sure he will do it to a hero eventually. I mostly see him use that ability on himself while he's closing the distance, and then he explodes on himself and does damage to the area around him. And that's pretty much what this guy's doing. He's maxed out his rage first, probably so that he can counter all the CC on the enemy team. What the hell is this Shadow Demon thinking? Tried to get out with a last-minute heal with his magic wand, but not quite enough for him to make it. Magnus and Lifestealer caught in the middle of those gears, but I mean, what's Windrunner gonna do? She throws out a power shot. That's what that big line was. And then she has a stun called the shackle shot, and if anyone's near like a tree or another hero or a creep, the stun will go through them and attach to the thing that's behind them, and then stun for longer. Nature's Prophet using his teleport ability to get out of there. What the hell is Rubik thinking? Going for a kill, but I don't think he's gonna get it because, you know, there's 3 people there, and I don't know what he was probably thinking he was gonna do, because it doesn't work that way. Magnus finally getting his Empower ability, giving him some cleave, which makes him even more dangerous. And of course, he's pretty much fully built because he bought a Blink Dagger and he has his mana boots. Not to mention he has a double damage rune that he still hasn't popped yet, which is absolutely terrifying because look at the damage that he does without double damage. So when he actually pops that, he's probably trying to save it for as long as he can, trying to have it pop in a team fight. Clink's getting taken out by Clockwork in bottom lane down there, but it looks like there might be something going on up here, so I'm going to stay up here for a little bit. Everyone's HP is looking okay. Windrunner getting harassed by Magnus, but that's pretty much what you're supposed to do when you're mid is Magnus, especially when you're up against a ranged carry slash support. Alright, his double damage is popped. Let's see if he's going to do anything with it. Nature's Prophet taking out a tower in bottom lane. That's probably why Magnus was halfway down to bottom lane. However, he decided against it. Looks like there was a quick exchange up here that ended in the Dire's favor. Dire going for another turret dive. Rubik using his telekinesis to buy himself some time. Shadow Demon using his Encase in Darkness ability to keep his teammate alive, but Rubik just can't stay alive against all this damage. The Venomancer poison is nothing to scoff at. Why is he oh, right, because he got raged. Okay. Uh-oh. Speaking of big-ass moves, he finally lands his ultimate. That's what that big pull was from the Clockwork. His ultimate is he throws out a big robotic arm that does big damage and stuns for a while when it hits. Sadly, Windrunner had no mana to use her stun while he was teleporting. The only way to stop a teleport is to stun the person who's teleporting. There goes a flare trying to push mid. That's a happy face lifestealer who made it out, trying to mess with people's heads. What's really odd is that all the minions in this game look like they're using mini butterflies. Interesting. Interesting look. Magnus threatening them with his presence. He is pretty scary. Not afraid to say. He's a big guy. You know, I wouldn't mess with him. What the hell is this Shadow Demon thinking? But it's okay because when... Okay. Suddenly pause. Someone's AFK. Who's AFK? I don't see anyone AFK. He's not AFK. Rubik isn't AFK. They're all in moving places. Clockwork? Is it him? Clockwork is AFK, I guess. And now he's using a teleportation scroll to get back. He went back to buy one. Coming back into lane. Windrunner getting taken out by Jakiro. Same with Rubik. Oh, Jakiro getting way too big now. Clockwork not really able to do much against all that damage. You saw that. The 3 of them are just so fed up here. But Nature's Prophet coming in from behind, trying to get the 2 of them, but I don't think it's going to work. He might throw... What the hell? Odd placement of the sprout there. He didn't get it around anybody. Maybe he was trying to stop whoever was running away down there and didn't really end up well for him. Should have put it around this guy, because when you put the trees around someone, they lose vision. Because trees block their vision. You'll notice how weird the shadows are behind these trees. When you're surrounded by trees, you can't see shit. So you'll see Nature's Prophets using that ability to surround someone in a 1v1 and give themselves an unfair advantage, because now the enemy can't really attack them because they can't see him. Rubik going in trying to get himself killed. I think he's going to get his wish if the Magnus can get in. Magnus with a big blink. That was good blink. Blocking the run and then pushing him down into the Jakiro damage and killing him almost instantly. Big insta-gibs from the Jakiro and Magnus combination. Magnus with a level 2 ulti. Now he's doing 225 damage guaranteed. Ouch. But his big damage is this bad boy. 300 damage. Ridiculous. Trying to hit the minions and his enemy, always a good idea. That is usually a technique that you have to try to employ as much as you can in any game like this. The big challenge in MOBAs is being able to farm and harass your enemy. The more opportunities you get to do that, the happier a boy you will be. We have triple warding going on here, but hey, why not? Clink's taking out a tower. It looks like the bottom tower got taken out. Right? Yes. Clink's taking out the bottom tower. Clinks has an invisibility walk. That's a skeleton walk right there. So he can go in and out of battle. Meanwhile, top tower killed by the Shadow Demon. So it's tower for tower. Always a good trade to make. When the enemy takes your tower, you might as well take theirs. Looks like the Radiant is still ahead in towers though. So the Dire is going to have to do something. Though the Dire are definitely ahead in kills. The Nature's Prophet might take out this Jakiro. Yes, he does. Big burst there. Now they have to take out the Lifestealer. It doesn't look like that's going to be likely. Venomancer ultimate applying all that poison damage to everybody, and now he's just stacking even more on people. Throwing down a ward to continue the damage on him. It looks like he popped a mechanism, but no, it was just his magic wand. It was the aura that made me think it was a mechanism. I don't know why Nature's Prophet is still in the fight. It looks like he's using an ability of some kind to get... Oh, his Phase Blade. Shadow Blade, sorry. Shadow Blade able to make him Shadow Walk so he can get out of a fight when needed. Clockwork using a regeneration rune to keep himself alive. It worked. It looks like he's getting ready to set up a quick ulti. Sending out a flare to get some vision. Ooh! Nice flash. Or blink. Using his blink dagger to get out of those trees and get out of dodge. In the meantime, this guy ain't going anywhere. Looks like the Venomancer gets taken out by a nice ulti. Oh wait, maybe not. Maybe he didn't use his ulti. He just used his ulti on the Roshan to get out of there. So I guess that he closed the distance somehow and then geared around the Venomancer. Jakiro thinking that he has a lot more damage than he does. He's just not tanky enough to be fighting like that. Suddenly, the Radiant back on top here. The Dire were looking pretty good for a little bit, but the Radiant are back in the mix, as Donkey would say. Ugh, that shockwave can kill minions like nobody's business. 300 damage is nothing to scoff at. Uh-oh. Looks like there might be a battle down here. Clink's getting initiated on by the Nature's Prophet. He returns fire. Ooh, that could have been close if he got some crits, but he did not have any crits because he didn't build any crit items. Clink's getting taken out by Nature's Prophet. That's probably something that I will be seeing a lot of, especially when Clinks is running around on his own. That's usually a bad way to stay alive. Lifestealer hanging out, using his rage ability to keep himself from being initiated on. Lifestealer getting a double kill. You saw that. He exploded on one guy and then killed the other one. He's got a pretty solid build at this point. He's got his Yasha. He has an Armlet of Mordegon. The Armlet of Mordegon is very powerful on someone like Lifestealer who can just get all that HP back almost immediately. He can pretty much keep it on at all times as far as I know. But his big secret is this Drum of Endurance. What the Drum of Endurance does is it gives plus attack and plus movement speed. And what that movement speed does is allows him to go in and out of fights pretty effectively. He's difficult to get away from, and you saw that big jump in his HP. That's when he turned off the glove. Cost HP to do that. Looks like Clockwork might die if he can't get out, and he does get hit by the Shadow Demon Orb of saving his life. Oh man, so much fighting. There was a lot of ability usage there. Ultimates going off left and right. Venomancer proving to be the most valuable player in that fight. His wards doing way too much damage, plus his ultimate, keeping people's HP low. Nature's Prophet chasing the Venomancer. Thanks to the wards that were placed there, he was able to see where the Venomancer was going. Teleported right next to him and took him out. Ah, we see 2 tower denies. That's not good for these boys. And it's also not good for those boys, because Clink's denied one, and Nature's Prophet denied the other. And what a tower deny will do is, you know how whenever towers die, You get experience and money and stuff. Not happening. You're not gonna get it if it gets denied. I don't know whose perseverance this is, but they're gonna have to pick that shit up. Nature's Prophet going into the jungle, trying to keep his money up. He might ult just to kill minions at some point. Usually, one of the main times you see Nature's Prophet's ultimate is when they're pretty close to getting an item. They'll just ult and use the gold to buy that item. Usually they have a pretty big guarantee of getting lots of minion kills, especially when this thing's maxed. It's doing 225 damage, and it does more damage every single time it bounces. So it might not kill every minion, but it'll kill most of them. Using dust, but sentry wards everywhere, able to see the enemy. However, they still get initiated on. Rubik getting absolutely... Oh boy, not Rubik. Rubik activated a rune, sorry. Nature's Prophet getting absolutely decimated back there. Oh, it's so difficult to keep up with the shit. It's so fast! Instant fights when it's 4v1 or 4v2. Clink's splitting off from the group, probably going to find a minion or a creep to eat so that he can be more effective in the next fight. What the hell was that? I don't know what the Clockwork was doing. Maybe he used his ult and then he used his gears immediately. In the meantime, Magnus showing him how it's done, using his abilities to close the gap and do a lot of damage. Two people with very low HP and they're getting out of the fight. Shadow Demon right in the middle of it. He dodged the Venomancer ult. That's probably going to save his life. Jakiro throwing down his stun, but the two of these guys, I don't know if they can take on 3 to 4 of the Radiant. Radiant might be taking out this Jakiro. Jakiro gets taken out. Venomancer on his own, still running around. Not sure what the Nature's Prophet is doing. He's just kind of sitting there. Shadow Demon has gotten him from his teleport, and he was stuck there, and now he's dead. He used some illusions. Not enough to save him. He did have a mechanism, but that wouldn't have saved him either. Mechanism giving you a 250 heal and gives you a little bit of armor when it's used. In the meantime, when it's not being used, it has a passive aura effect that I can't see anymore because glitch. That's not fun. It has an aura that gives you more regen in the area, which is 4. 4 extra regen. Regen is king in this game, by the way. The more regen you have of a mana and HP variety, the longer you can stay in lane. The longer you stay in lane, the happier you will be. Right now I was using Observer Wards instead of Sentry Wards. Observer Wards just show you what the area looks like. They do not show you invisible units. If you can't see it without a ward, you can't see it with one of those wards. Lots of teleportations, a tower denial by a pro Lifestealer. Very good timing on that auto attack on the tower there. Speaking of Lifestealer being pro, taking out the Windrunner, but at the same time, Nature's Prophet taking out that Clanks who's running around on his own. He just can't 1v1 him. Shadow Demon getting destroyed by the Lifestealer once again. Rubik getting pwned by Magnus's damage. Rubik just can't tank it. And he's getting singled out by Magnus and then killed. Venomancer getting trapped in those trees, throws out a ward so we can see the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet, I guess, didn't realize that there would be a Lifestealer there. Lifestealer ending his life. Rightfully so. Venomancer building something. Uh-oh, Force Staff, look out. Force Staff is an interesting thing. It's kind of like a flash, but it pushes you forward, and you can use it on teammates and enemies and yourself. And minions, I think, even. Anything that you can click on. This is a pretty interesting courier. Looks like it's based off Juggernaut. With the mask there. Lifestealer going, hey, why not Roshan? I'll tell you why not, because they know you're there. Clockwork Flare, OP. Too much sight, bro. Global range flare that explodes over a given area, damaging enemies and providing vision for 10 whole seconds. But you know what? They're like, fuck it, dude. Let's kill it anyway. Another flare goes in. The enemy knows that they're there, but I don't think that anything's going to come of it. Trying to catch this Clanks and see what he's going to do. Not much going on with the Clanks. Clanks still looks like he is going to threaten to do something. They're getting ready to try to intercept this Roshan, but nothing really happening. Clanks getting involved in the fight. Lots of damage coming out of him, but now he's getting geared. so he's kind of stuck there. Big ice path by the Jakiro, able to keep the Clockwork from killing anyone. Clanks get the kill on Clockwork. Lifestealer getting a nice double kill. He has so much damage doing stupid stuff and staying alive with it. There's somebody with a urn somewhere. I don't know who has the urn. You have the urn. Jakiro with an urn, whenever you get kills, you get charges on it. And what it'll do is heal 400 HP over time. The only thing that stops the heal is an attack from an enemy player. Clanks just killed the Nature's Prophet. Why was the Nature's Prophet up in the base? He must have been trying to kill somebody, failed miserably, and died in the process. Maybe he was just pushing in. I'm not sure. Based on the tower's HP, maybe he was just pushing top while his team was dying. Someone just picked up Perseverance. Oh, shit! Refresher Orb on Magnus. That's scary. Double ultimate on Magnus is nothing that you want to be the victim of. Oh, no. Refresher Orb will reset your cooldowns for everything. So he can blink and then hit this and then blink again. What he will probably do is blink in to initiate, use his ultimate, and then his 1 or his Q and then his E, and then just hit that refresher orb. Then he can blink again if need be. He can also give himself an easy 270 mana. That's a lot of mana. I do believe that that's almost enough to do these two twice easy. It's just he's got over 1,000 mana to begin with, so he doesn't even need these boots anymore. As far as I'm concerned, he could probably sell them and get some phase boots or something more attack oriented, maybe even power treads. But the one nice thing about having arcane boots is that you can give your allies some extra mana too. I can't wait to see the bullshit that this Magnus is gonna pull with this refresher orb in his inventory. Another hero that greatly is benefited by the effects of a refresher orb is the Tidebringer. His ultimate does a lot of damage, and it has a big stun attached to it. So doing it twice is pretty broken. Are we going to see the refresher orb get thrown? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it. Magnus getting out of there. So no refresher orb. We didn't get to see the lovely effects of a refresher orb. Lifestealer has a Sangha and Yasha, so he's going to be hurting. And a Skull Basher. Oh boy. So not only does he attack pretty fast because of the Sangha and Yasha, which basically is the best of both worlds when it comes to agility and some evasion and some defense and some attack and some strength. It's really nice. It's a really nice weapon on someone who's trying to be a DPS and... oh, he used his refresher orb there. You saw all of that damage. He can almost do 2,000 damage with a refresher orb, just from his abilities alone. You got 300 damage here, 600 damage here, and then if he hits this, that's another 280, and then he just repeats the cycle. That's almost 2,000 damage. That's ridiculous. And if you combine, if he empowers himself, definitely 2,000 damage. Maybe even close to 2,500 damage. Not only is that enough to burst somebody down, all of his effects, all of his abilities have area of effect. So he can kill an entire enemy team with this refresher orb, except for maybe a strength hero or two. I wonder what Clockwork is building. He's got a 4-staff, but that's about it. He's just not very powerful right now. Another 4-staff. Lots of 4-staffs on the enemy team. Windrunner going support by getting a mechanism, which is what she should be doing. Windrunner is a support hero. She has an ultimate orb and a null talisman. I wonder what she's going to build those into. Clanks waiting on his opportunity to strike here. Still running around. I'm going to follow them because this should be interesting. What the hell? Why did he use his gears? I guess he's using his gears so that they don't chase. It worked, so more power to him. It just seems so random to me. Nature's Prophet using his teleportability to get on down to that lane down there. He's going power treads. He's got a Ring of Aquila, which will give him and everyone around him some mana regen and bonus armor when it's activated. He has an Orchid, which is really effective. It silences people that he does use this on, and it amplifies damage to them by 30%. Basically, he can burst down a nice tanky carry, like this guy, for instance, pretty easily with it. Oh shit, he has a Mystic Staff. I think I have an idea of what he's going to build, but we'll see if he ever finishes it. He might not even have to. Clink's absolutely destroying that Shadow Demon with the help of Magnus's burst. Speaking of which, Lifestealer getting a nice kill steal there. Life's not the only thing that this Lifestealer is stealing. He didn't even use his ult. Didn't have to. Magnus did. Power Shot coming out from that Windrunner, trying to buy them some time, but I don't think it's going to buy them enough time to win this game. Nature's Prophet having to come back to the base in order to defend this push. They're all in here, baby. Except for Jakiro. Jakiro's a little scared. I'd be scared too if I was Jakiro. Knocking down some trees. Trying to hit the turret. Gonna probably take out this turret, no denial. Pretty hard to deny when 4 people on the enemy team are all around it. Magnus still scaring the enemy. I'd be scared too. He has a lot of damage because of this bad boy. As soon as that Refresher Orb is off cooldown, like, you're pretty much gonna die. Nice stun from the Windrunner, followed by a good, I'm just gonna call it Dark Imprisoning for now, from the Shadow Demon. Oh, he almost killed the Rubik, but then Rubik was like, I'm gonna telekinesis you and survive and kill you. And then Venomancer getting taken out by Rubik. What's Rubik got for his spells? He has he has a reverse polarity. Interesting. He stole Magnus's ult. That should be interesting. There's a flare coming out. I'm not sure if they can see the Lifestealer, but the Lifestealer runs really, 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 really fast. Oh my god, he has a double mini bash. He has the Monkey King Bar bash and the Skull Basher bash. So he has a 25% stun with this for 1.4 seconds. And then his mini bash is at 35%. So he does bonus damage, and it gives you a little bit of a stun. A little bash here and there. Plus his phase boots. This guy's fully built. He's scary. He can do a lot of damage very quickly. Along with the Skull Basher, makes him very powerful in a 1v1. Speaking of people that are powerful in a 1v1, Clink's is hurting. He's got a nice Orchid, which will keep him alive pretty good. He has the Demon Edge. Looks like he might be building that into a butterfly or something. Speaking of people that are doing a lot of damage, Nature's Prophet having an easy time taking out the enemy. Someone's got a sheep stick. I think that it's this guy. Yep, he's got the sheep stick, which is the Scythe of Vice, or Vice, along with the Shadow Blade, trying to get in and out of fights, but it's at a point where the enemy can stop that. Oh, Jakiro just got his sheep stick. Man, everybody's getting so built. He even has a Hand of Midas on the Nature's Prophet, trying to get as much gold as he can. But I'm not feeling it for the Radiant right now. Radiant's all dead. Dire's pushing. Radiant not having a good time. Radiant has a lot of problems coming into the base right now. They have a lot of really big creeps. They're not super creeps yet, but they're pretty big. It's looking like the Dire's going, hey, if you guys aren't going to surrender, we're going to push in all your lanes and keep you in the spawn for as long as we can until you either surrender or we win. And that looks like the plan, and there isn't really a lot that the Radiant can do yet. Not a lot of them are alive. Only 4. Not nearly enough. Comes a flare. You may notice that sometimes you hear the blank structures are fortified. That's this thing down in the corner here, the Glyph of Fortification. What that does is it's basically your fortify from League of Legends. The only difference is it doesn't increase the attack power of the turrets. It just makes them invincible for a short time. Sometimes it's enough to let you save them or deny them. But in that case, it just allowed them to all run in and die one by one to Magnus's amazing abilities. Not sure what the Nature's Prophet is going to do here. He might teleport into their base and kill the barracks just for shits and giggles, but I doubt it. Oh, they're calling GG. This game's over. Shout out to Bonshro from Silvos. Getting shout outs over here. Great game. Everybody got pretty well built. You got to see a lot of items and their usefulness and their not usefulness. Looking for a Gem of True Sight on the Jakiro. That item drops if you die, just like the Divine Rapier. And a nice Monkey King bar. Always good to see Monkey King bars. I love those items. It's good. Check out the game stats. The kills, deaths, and assists. Look at the scores on the red. 2 people on the red team doing pretty good. Magnus even, not too bad. Everybody pretty much went positive. Oh, someone found a nice little gem staff there. A rare gem staff. Feather gloves. What? That's funny on the Bloodseeker. Instead of his big blades, he's got feathers. That's funny. Everybody pretty much went positive except for the supports, it looks like. And Clockwork, who couldn't really land his ult when he needed to. He even got the upgrade to it, but what was the point if you're not going to land it? Rubik did absolutely horrible that game because he would get burst down immediately. There wasn't really much he could do about it. What a game! I wish that it gave me more time at the end to go over everybody's builds and stuff, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I was trying to find a Beastmaster game, but no one's playing as a Beastmaster, it seems. At least in team mode, at least. I guess he's low tier. Oh my god, is that a tiny game? Looks like that's going to be the next episode. See you then, bye!